Buddha, or Gautama Buddha, also known as Shakyamuni Buddha, was a great, extraordinary spiritual master from ancient India. Born as Prince Siddhartha Gautama in the 5th century BC, he would have naturally inherited the vast wealth of a kingdom. However, the prince left the palace life in search of spiritual knowledge. After years of contemplative seeking, the Buddha attained great enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. He then shared the merits of his practice by providing a method for other sentient beings to be freed from the cycle of death and rebirth. The rich treasury of Buddha's spiritual doctrine on universal truths is studied and revered to this day for its deep wisdom and compassion. Dhammapada means words of doctrine or way of truth in Pali. It is also known as 法句经 in Chinese, or Dhammapada, 1부-법구경 in Korean, or 1부-법구 in Vietnamese. Dhammapada is an anthology of verses spoken by the Buddha on various occasions in response to a certain unique situation. It is one of the most popular and widely read Buddhist scriptures enjoyed by both Buddhists and non-Buddhists. Its original version is in the Khuddaka Nikaya, a Pali canon division of Theravada Buddhism. In total, there are 423 verses in the 26 chapters of the Dhammapada that convey the philosophical and practical foundations of the Buddhist tradition. The verses are mainly presented in pairs, like, for example, grief and suffering against joy, developing the mind instead of ignoring the mental attitude and conduct, virtuousness versus misconduct, and being truthful, not deceitful. The whole purpose is to illustrate the desirable and non-desirable outcomes due to our actions, speech, and thoughts. The objective of the text is to guide one in leading a spiritual life by firstly attaining happiness in this life or in the future lives, and subsequently achieving spiritual liberation, freedom, and absolute peace. We will now share with you selections from the Dhammapada, Way of Truth, chapters 1 to 2. Chapter 1, Pairs, verses 1 to 2. Phenomena are preceded by the heart, ruled by the heart, made of the heart. If you speak or act with a corrupted heart, then suffering follows you, as the wheel of the cart, the track of the ox that pulls it. Phenomena are preceded by the heart, ruled by the heart, made of the heart. If you speak or act with a calm, bright heart, then happiness follows you like a shadow that never leaves. Verses 3 to 6. He insulted me, hit me, beat me, robbed me. For those who brood on this, hostility isn't stilled. He insulted me, hit me, beat me, robbed me. For those who don't brood on this, hostility is stilled. Hostilities aren't stilled through hostility, regardless. Hostilities are stilled through non-hostility. This an unending truth. Unlike those who don't realize that we are here on the verge of perishing, those who do, their quarrels are stilled. Verses 7 to 8. One who stays focused on the pleasant objects is unrestrained with the senses, knowing no moderation in food, apathetic, unenergetic. Mara overcomes him as the wind, a weak tree. One who stays focused on impurities of the body is restrained with regard to the senses, knowing moderation in food, full of conviction and energy. Mara does not overcome him as the wind, a mountain of rock. Verses 9 to 10. He who, depraved, devoid of truthfulness and self-control, puts on the ochre robe doesn't deserve the ochre robe. But he who is free of depravity, endowed with truthfulness and self-control, well established in the precepts, truly deserves the ochre robe. Verses 11 to 12. They take untruth for truth. They take truth for untruth. Such persons can never arrive at the truth, for they hold wrong views. They take truth for truth. They take untruth for untruth. Such persons arrive at the truth, for they hold the right views. Verses 13 to 14. As rain seeps into an ill-thatched hut, so passion, the undeveloped mind. As rain doesn't seep into a well-thatched hut, so passion does not, the well-developed mind. Verses 15 to 18. Here he grieves hereafter. In both worlds the wrongdoer grieves. He grieves, he's afflicted, seeing the corruption of his deeds. Here he rejoices hereafter. In both worlds the merit maker rejoices. He rejoices, is jubilant, seeing the purity of his deeds. Here he is tormented hereafter. In both worlds the wrongdoer is tormented. He is tormented at the thought, I have done wrong. Having gone to a bad destination, he is tormented all the more. Here he delights hereafter. In both worlds, the merit maker delights. He delights at the thought, I've made merit. Having gone to a good destination, he delights all the more. Verses 19 to 20. If he recites many teachings, but heedless man doesn't do what they say, like a cowherd counting the cattle of others, he has no share in the contemplative life. If he recites next to nothing, but follows the Dhamma, in line with the Dhamma, abandoning passion, aversion, delusion, alert, his mind well released, not clinging either here or hereafter, he has his share in the contemplative life. Chapter 2. Heedfulness. Verses 21 to 24. Heedfulness, the path to nirvana. Heedlessness, the path to death. The heedful do not die. The heedless are as if already dead. Knowing this as a true distinction, those wise in heedfulness rejoice in heedfulness, enjoying the range of the noble ones. The enlightened, constantly absorbed in jhana, persevering, firm in their effort, they touch unbinding, the unexcelled rest from the yoke. Those with initiative, mindful, clean in action, acting with due consideration, heedful, restrained, living the Dhamma, their glory grows. Verse 25. Through initiative, heedfulness, restraint, and self-control, the wise would make an island no flood can submerge. Verse 26. They are addicted to heedlessness, dullards, fools, while one who is wise cherishes heedfulness as his highest wealth. Verse 27. Don't give way to heedlessness or to intimacy with sensual delight, for a heedful person absorbed in jhana attains an abundance of ease. Verse 28. When the wise person drives out heedlessness with heedfulness, having climbed the high tower of discernment, sorrow-free, he observes the sorrowing crowd as the enlightened man, having scaled a summit, the fools on the ground below. Verse 29. heedful among the heedless, wakeful among those asleep, just as a fast horse advances, leaving the weak behind, so the wise. Verse 30. Through heedfulness, Indra won to lordship over the devas. Heedfulness is praised, heedlessness censured, always. Verses 31 to 32. The monk delighting in heedfulness, seeing danger in heedlessness, advances like a fire, burning fetters great and small. The monk delighting in heedfulness, seeing danger in heedlessness, incapable of falling back, stands right on the verge of unbinding. Wonderful viewers, thank you for your company on today's selections from the Dhammapada, Way of Truth, chapters 1 to 4, part 1 of 2, on words of wisdom.